Welcome to episode 341 of the 365 Message Center show. Today, or whenever you're watching, we're covering a CrowdStrike issue that impacted many machines around the world. We've got some thoughts about it, of course, like many people. We're also talking about Copilot scheduled prompts and the ability to send that prompt and get those results at the time and frequency you want. Very nice. Lastly, do you want to be able to rename the general channel in your Teams? Now you can, among other things. But let's talk about the impacts. We'll see you soon.
Yes. See you soon, like right now.
Oh, you're right. No, I just thought I'd leave this open for you to welcome people back.
Welcome back to Darrell's intro. You survived. We are here to talk about how all of the world came to a halt on Friday, U.S. time. And
all of the world?
Well, not all of it.
I mean, certainly not Macs, right, Daniel?
Well, I did see a meme that said... yet another opportunity for Mac users to be even more smug.
Was that the one with they had like kind of French cravats and they're all very like royal and like...
Oh, I did see that one too. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
The Mac users looking
that
at... That
was the face I had, at least, anyway.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that just a little bit. I think at this point, people have come to an understanding of what happened, hopefully. And hint, hint, it wasn't Microsoft's fault. So please follow us on here in the YouTube. If you're listening or if you're watching, click the subscribe button, hit the bell so you know when we go live. We go live every week, actually, to sort and pick messages and talk a little bit about them, go a little bit more in depth sometimes. So, you coming to watch that will give you even more information about the announcements that have happened this week. And if you're listening on audio, you can, of course, participate in that as well. Mm-hmm. It is Friday afternoons U.S. time, and down in the deep South.
Hey, just the other side of the world. It is Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Saturday morning, which usually comes after pancakes and coffee for me, because that's our family ritual. I know. I've got very good at it. Well practiced.
So when you make pancakes, do you put a little bit of vanilla in the mix?
No, I don't. Why would I do that?
I'm just asking. You should try it.
No, the flavor is what we add on top of it, like lemon juice, fresh lemon juice, and icing sugar, or maple syrup, or bacon, or something. Banana.
Sure. I'm big with banana. I'm big with jam. Just like get you a nice tablespoon of jam and throw it on top, and no syrup. Just eat it like that. A stack of pancakes. Flat.
That sounds like pikelets, which is another kind of almost English thing. But we're not here to talk about...
We are not. Hit us up on socials, though, at 365MCS on all the socials that matter. What we are here to talk about, Darrell, is simplifying people's lives. And so let's talk about how we can do that with getting their email.
Why not? Yeah. Microsoft Outlook, simplified mobile app sign-ins. So this is more than just email, though, isn't it? No, it is Outlook. Fine. MC822719. I'm getting into the message before I finish the title. Guilty. Outlook mobile apps will soon allow sign-in via QR code. And what does this mean? When you want to sign in to Outlook, instead of putting in the username and password, you'll be able to scan a QR code that is on the screen during your sign-in process. It certainly simplifies things. Now, that could have some people feeling a bit worried about security, and is it going to be as simple as me then coming in between that process somehow, taking a picture? Now I'm signing in with Daniel, your mailbox details. I guess the advice here would be complete the process while you're here in front, while you've got your mobile out.
Well, I know this is supposed to be a quick mention, but I think you're right. Things like you're at the airport, and you have Outlook up, or even worse, you're on the airplane or on the train, and you're connected to the Wi-Fi on your machine, hopefully connected by VPN as well, but you're connected to the Wi-Fi, and you bring this QR code up, and you're fumbling with your phone to get ready to scan it, but the person behind you has already scanned it.
Yes, doing these things in public is not advisable.
I mean, so, and not just in public, but things like, hey, I'm in an office space. Maybe you're in your company's office space, right? And you get up to go get a bit of coffee, and some guest has come in, nefariously or not, and they go over to your machine, click this little button that says "Show me QR code," and they have their phone and they do it while you're over getting coffee. I mean, yes, we can find holes and gaps and things if all security practices are not followed, but I feel like we should mention those things. That this is the reason why we're bringing it up, right, Darrell? Is that people need to be thinking about this, how you're going to implement this in their organization. Correct.
This is going to be available public preview mid-August, and I might try it just to see what it's like. Remove the account, put it back on Outlook Mobile, try the space out. So mid-August and completed or rolled out to public preview in mid-September, and general availability worldwide. We will begin our rollout at mid-September, expected to complete mid-November, with 2024 as part of the month name. Take a close look at the message, you'll see what I mean. Good formatting. Next up, we have some commentary.
Yeah, this is a unique message, kinda, right? And we'll talk about why. But CrowdStrike issue impacting Windows endpoints, causing an error message on a blue screen. That's pretty descriptive there, isn't it? MC822418. So, as mentioned previously during the show, there was an issue with Windows machines that had the CrowdStrike software installed, the security software installed on them, because a patch was released, and it seems like this is not the normal process, but it was a patch was released worldwide immediately at the same time to everybody that had the software, and when it did, it made it to where when the reboot happened, it just went to blue screen, and it kept rebooting blue screen. There was no avoiding that. So it affected travel, it affected business, it affected lots and lots of people, lots of systems. The reason why we're talking about it now and it shows up in the message center is that, yes, it's a big deal, but this one gives us description on how to get your machine back up. And I think this is another unique thing, is that this software had kernel access. It had the ability to insert itself before the operating system loads, and therefore, if it screws up, which it did, you have no access to your operating system. But we have the description on what to do to remedy this. But I think the reason why it's kind of odd is you will notice its formatting is all, it's not the normal formatting, of course, for good reason, because it's not even a Windows problem. It's not even a Microsoft problem. This is a third-party software problem, but it was so big, so huge that Microsoft, I think, makes an exception here to release a message in the message center to tell us how to remedy this, and gives us links off to how you do it with machines that are running, virtual machines that are running in Azure and everything else. So it's unique and it's interesting, and hopefully by now everybody's got the remedy in place. And I think the big deal here is to fix this, you have to physically touch the thing.
Yeah.
You have to physically go into safe mode, and you have to physically, each machine has to be done at the same time, doing Windows recovery and going through that process. So
there's no remote support for this one where I will control your screen as a help desk person. No, you're going to gather 8 people together into a room and say, okay, everyone, follow these steps.
Now go.
Have you all done that? Good.
Yeah.
Next.
I will say, though, now that you mentioned that whole remote thing, I would not be surprised in the next few weeks that there are some scams that pop up, targeting people who that say, let me fix this for you so you don't have this problem in the future. And let's remote support, and I will I will do the thing all the while they're stealing all your stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's that happening. But that's not about this message. This message is just heads up. Here's how you fix it. And I think I don't want. There was a lot of confusion thinking it was Microsoft's fault, and so this message in the message center doesn't confirm that at all. It's just, hey, they really needed to, get information out there that is supporting. Darrell, kind of transitioning here, I think what would be good is maybe it would be great if we could get regular automated information to us about what's going on without us having to, proactively go get it.
Like in the message center, but somehow it gets delivered to us. Yeah.
Maybe we should be able to schedule some things.
We could. Nice transition. This message, Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365 : Have you noticed, and again, it's the pattern for these messages, where you've got product name, the actual title. Well, that certainly lengthens the title.
It does.
New scheduled prompt feature, MC816217. If you are a frequent user of Copilot, maybe you have come up with some fancy prompts that help you get your day started or help you do certain things at times of day. And today, you still need to take that prompt, put it somewhere, and then get those results. Or if you're super smart, maybe you've created your own Copilot and you do all kinds of coding in the background. Well, Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365, a out-of-the-box product, is going to now offer the ability to schedule prompts with the help of Power Automate. Right? This is not something out of the box that comes with your Copilot licensing for Microsoft 365. Rather, Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365. You have to have Power Automate license to run this. So keep that in mind. But that is the functionality it's using to trigger the prompt that you want to run at certain times and at certain frequencies. You will see a new little picture above a prompt, which gives you the option to schedule it, and then that'll take you through to a place where you can configure what that looks like. Now, if you don't want this working in your environment, as we often find, there are things we want to turn off and have a bit more control over. This is something you could restrict, limit based on the policies that are available in config.office.com. And Daniel, are you using Copilot on a kind of frequent basis where you might find this useful, or can you see some scenarios where this could be helpful?
I think, and this is something that you mentioned on the live show, I believe, is the ability to kind of summarize or get started in a day. Being able to say, have that scheduled to, instead of having to go to Copilot and go, I want to figure these things out. Maybe I can get a inbox, receiving in my inbox that catch me up information without me having to do anything about it. Right. I think that is something that I could find helpful. Is I start my day with a summary of things that I want because I created the prompt and told Copilot what I wanted. I think that's probably a good use case of this. I think there's some things that I would caution on, that I would use caution on, given the fact that Copilot seems to not give the same information more than once. Even if you ask it the same thing right after you asked it before, it will give you even a little bit of a tweak, even if it's just wording a little bit. It's still going to change that. So I would caution any kind of automated. When we throw in Power Automate, we want to automate stuff so we don't have to do it. But the caution I would throw at this is not doing that to the point of having Copilot do things like go out and grab information, and then the next step in your flow is, okay, take that information and publish it as our press release for today.
Unchecked.
Right. I mean, stuff like we still have to, just like when we're using Copilot to do work normally, we have to check it. I know a lot of people are not checking it, but you should be checking every little detail against the sources that it's telling you the truth. And the same thing for this. That's the caution I would throw at this.
Good caution. Good advice. So this is going to be generally available, rolling out early October and complete late October. And that's when you get to try it out and see what that experience is like. We will keep an eye on this. Daniel, there's something else that we might want to do in a uniformly kind of way and collect that data. Tell me what's happening with forms.
Microsoft Forms now supports live data sync to Microsoft Excel with more functionality. This is MC 186207. Microsoft now supports that live data sync feature with Excel, so you can have automated updates and the ability to take that information. And this has always been something that I think has been awesome with Forms, is you could look at your results and then export it into Excel and then do stuff with it, right? And take action, filter, create charts, whatever. And that you've always been able to do that, but it was manual. You manually had to go every time, and it never updated when I went in and did it, and now 10 people have filled out the form again. Now I need to go and do it again. So it didn't keep up to date. But what this is the ability to go and create that workbook, and it's going to create that workbook in your OneDrive. And then those form responses will then automatically sync to a table in your workbook. So think about it this way. I can create a chart. I can create information calling out that data in that table because it's formatted as a table. So whenever people are updating it, that chart gets updated. That information representing this content will be updated. And then I can do all the cool stuff. I can do co-authoring. I can do, everything I can do with a workbook. So it gives us that capability to do real data work with it as well. This is I think one thing to call out here is it is in OneDrive. So, those scenarios where you're doing teamwork, you're going to be doing it out of OneDrive with a file in your OneDrive rather than in a SharePoint team site. So, that's one thing to call out there. Darrell, what do you think on the, do you use forms in this way, like capturing this data and having a refresh? And like me, I go back and look at my downloads folder, and there's 10 versions of the CSV because I've had to download it so many times just to take a look at the updates.
One scenario where we use forms is something of a knowledge check at the end of a training, like change campaign. And so you're sharing that link, you're encouraging people who are attending multiple instances of that same training session, and you want to see how effective has that training been, and you can report back to the project leads to say this is how well it's landing. I have had to manually download, upload, compile, then they have someone else who does stuff with Power BI or whatever, and it all feels very manual. Absolutely would like this feature to synchronize that, and it's not a task for me to download, upload, and massage the information.
So this is rolling out with a preview label in March, and we'll be removing that label in July of 2024. The general availability, it says worldwide, will begin rolling out late June and expected to be in that late July period. But they're going to come, it says, it'll be released with a preview, said in March. And so they're talking about this kind of going live and with this additional functionality coming. So, for those that are been using it in the preview, being able to have that, those additional experiences is, I think, very helpful. Darrell.
Yes.
Let's talk about things going GA, my friend.
Well, I can do that.
Okay.
And it's something that it's a bit divisive at the moment, in that there are definitely people who like the way that classic Outlook works. They've got their system, their way of working with things, and new Outlook doesn't quite do everything that they need. But regardless of that, new Outlook is becoming GA, generally available for Windows. And this is message MC810420. Daniel, you actually reminded me about this thought too, that while there isn't any change to the software when something becomes GA, it's still the same product. It might have a few tweaks and it's available. What does change for some organizations is, now that it's GA, we will allow people to use it, to try it out. Some of the organizations will limit who can switch things on and off because they don't want to have a whole lot of support calls. So this just makes it more official, more supported. It is using new Outlook, which is very much the same as Outlook on the web. Daniel and I use this frequently, so no changes to the way that we work. But of course, if you are keen on some classic features in Outlook that aren't there yet, you'll probably be staying in Classic until you see some update that says it's now available in the new Outlook. Or maybe you'll just hold on to Classic Outlook until it no longer is supported.
Well,
there's not much more to add to this, though.
No, and you're right. The whole idea that until it becomes GA, it doesn't have full support from Microsoft. So, there's still a lot of people that haven't tried it. Give it a try once it goes GA on August 1st. But it doesn't mean it has feature parity, but it just means it is fully supported. So, yay.
Yeah. We'll finish off with another simple message, but one that has also got some talk around the town, perhaps even in Teams. Daniel, take us there.
Perhaps even in Teams. Microsoft Teams. Ability to rename general channel, MC814583. I think a lot of people are going to like this, in that you're going to be able to rename that general channel to something that's more meaningful to your team. Maybe that's something you rename to say this is your bulletin board, or this is the place for all communication. Maybe, I don't know. We're going to be able to rename it, and we talked several weeks back about the auto hiding of channels, including general. So this is really bringing, for me, I'm thinking this is bringing the general channel in line with your other standard channels in Teams that can be any name, that can be hidden. So, there's a lot of questions that I kind of have around, and I think you do too, around the meaningfulness of communication in Teams when you don't know if people even have the channel showing for them. And what happens when this is kind of we were talking about in the previous episode about if we're hiding the general channel, well, then what channel is that we know is always going to be shown? Well, now it's kind of in the same vein of that. If we're renaming the general channel, how as I as a user can find the channel that will always be the common one, right? Because before it was, well, I know if I can go find the general channel, that's the one everybody's going to have, right? Because that's the one that can't be removed, it can't be renamed, it's always there. Well, now it can be hidden, removed, and it can also be renamed. Do you think, I think we talked a little bit about this before, but this definitely has some, we've had that consistency across our teams with this general channel. Now it's not going to be consistent. So do you think that'll affect the way we work?
Yes. A team needs to decide where they're going to have conversations that everyone needs to know about in the team. It feels like all the recent changes around this are making any channel, there is no special channel. There is no channel that we can guarantee everyone's going to see, and one that we can guarantee everyone will receive messages if they are posted there. Now that has positives and negatives. The positives are, if it's a general channel and in every team that gets created only has a general channel, then everyone's getting pinged on messages. But then you have to make a conscious decision, and you have to get the rest of your team members to consciously show a channel that you choose to use for all team communications. Or get used to using @team and sending a notification to everyone, whatever the channel. I'm interested to see what is left of the, you could say, superpowers or abilities of a general channel that makes it useful, because it's not the name, it's not that it's shown for everyone. What is it? I think it's just, we're only just going to have the team name and a channel that you start with, whatever that name is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting. This is renaming the general channel. It does say we are introducing the ability to provide a meaningful name to the general channel in a new or existing team. So I'm wondering, is there going to be a question when you're creating a team and you don't go through the whole, I'm applying a template, or I just want a regular old team blank. Is it going to ask you, what do you want the channel name to be? Or is it just going to create general? That's going to be interesting also. And I feel like
we should call it your first channel as a
right.
default, like it's sort of Fisher-Price style.
Yeah. I think you're right. Teams are going to have to figure out how they want to work, but really what's going to happen is someone that's a team owner is going to rename it, or not. But if they choose to rename it, they're going to rename it to whatever they want, and that's the way it's going to be. So is it really going to be the team getting together and going, hey, everybody, let's talk about what we want this general channel to actually be named? No. So
hopefully they'll provide some guidance, though, about how to use that channel.
Yeah, I talk negatively, and I'm sorry if I am only talking negative. There's been a lot of requests for this, and it is because general doesn't actually prescribe or give an indication as to what should go there, right?
Yeah.
And so I get it. You want that channel to be named appropriately for whatever type of team this is.
Announcements, perhaps? Team comms?
So, and I think what happened a lot is people went in and created additional standard channels for those things. Announcements, blah, blah, blah. And then didn't use the general channel because they created channels that were purposeful and intentional around what it is. But general was like, I don't know what it is. Anyway. So this will be rolling out early August, completed by mid-August for targeted release. And then GA, general availability, in mid-August for worldwide, mid-August through late August, and then GCC early September, mid-September, GCC high, mid-September to late September, DoD mid-September to late September. Yeah. And that's our last message.
Yeah, it is,
yeah.
Generally speaking.
Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. We greatly appreciate you. Help us out by sharing this link to this episode or to our channel, to the podcast, share it out to just one person this week, if you would. We'd greatly appreciate that.
Definitely. Thank you all too for comments that you leave on the videos and engaging with us there. And that offer still stands. Join us when we're sorting through these messages, because we do enjoy hearing what you've got to say and think. We might even figure out a way to bring you in live so you could be part of that recording. I know it's a bit risky. Maybe we just do that for our trusted, known people.
Yeah, people who click the subscribe and maybe drop in a couple dollars in the bucket.
Oh, okay. They got to pay to complain?
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Well, thanks again, everyone. See you in episode 342 next week. Bye for now.
Bye.